Dear students, welcome to Social Science YouTube channel. Today I am uploading second part of the Advent of Europeans chapter. In the previous class, we learned part 1. In the part 1, we learned about arrival of Portuguese, French, Dutch, and English to India. In the part 2 video, we learn about Carnatic Wars and even Battle of Plassey, Battle of Buxar, and dual government. Let us start with Carnatic Wars. In the previous class, I have told you the French and English both wanted to establish their power in India or their empire in India. Therefore, so this led to the clashes between both of them. So that clashes only resulted as a Carnatic Wars. 3 Carnatic Wars fought between the French and the English to control over South India. Let us learn one by one. The first Carnatic War, 1746 to 1748. It fought for 2 years. Why this was fought? Actually, this was fought because of Austrian War of Succession in Europe. When Austrian king died, England and France both wanted to appoint their followers as a ruler of Austria. That is led to the clashes in Austria. The same thing reflected in India. Because in India also, they were both French and the British. Let us see what happened here. So all of you know that Dupleix was a French governor general in India. On the request of Dupleix, La Boudinais, a French military leader from Mauritius, invaded Madras and captured it. Dupleix requested La Boudinais to capture Madras, so he came from Mauritius and captured it for Dupleix. This forced the helpless British to request the help of Anwaruddin, the Nawab of Carnatic, for support. Yes, so here British were helpless to throw the La Boudinais out of Madras. Therefore, they requested Nawab Anwaruddin. Anwaruddin was a Nawab of Carnatic. Even Madras was also part of Carnatic. Even Nawab of Carnatic, post of Nawab was not secured. Even he wanted British help to secure his post. So when British requested him to help them to throw the La Boudinais out of Madras, he accepted and he attacked on La Boudinais. The army sent by Anwaruddin could not defeat the French at Madras. When Anwaruddin failed to defeat the La Boudinais at Madras, British used Plan B. The Plan B was they paid some ransom, some money to La Boudinais. La Boudinais took money from the English and he returned Madras to the British and went back to Mauritius. So this disappointed Dupleix. So Dupleix, enraged by this, and he again attempted to capture Madras, but he could not capture Madras from the British. Finally, the war was ended with a treaty in Europe between the France and the England called Treaty of Aix-la-Chapelle. Treaty of Aix-la-Chapelle ended the First Carnatic War. So remember this treaty and the first point, La Boudinais. So Lawbornese captured Madras on the advice of Dupleix. Next, Second Carnatic War. So the Second Carnatic War fought because of the both French and English interfered in Indian politics. So it was fought between 1749 to 1754. So in Carnatic, Chanda Sahib became the Nawaba with the help of the French. And the same Nawab, Chanda Sahib, was defeated and killed by Robert Clive later. So Chanda Sahib was imprisoned and later killed in this war. So actually this Chanda Sahib was the enemy of Anwaruddin. Anwaruddin was a friend of British. So Chanda Sahib, with the help of French, killed Anwaruddin and captured Carnatic. When he captured Carnatic, so English defeated Anwaruddin and killed. Then later they captured Carnatic. Like this, Carnatic came under the control of Robert Clive or the English. So even Hyderabad was there, the Hyderabad came under the control of French. They appointed an officer called Bassi to take care of the Hyderabad. So this Second Carnatic War was also ended with the Treaty of Pondicherry. The Treaty of Pondicherry was signed between the French and the English to stop Second Carnatic War. So this war brought laurels to English while French suffered a political setback. So it means, so English got a lot of benefits from this Carnatic War, Second Carnatic War, whereas French suffered political setback. Means they suffered a lot. So therefore, French decided to recall the Dupleix. So finally, Dupleix was recalled. Dupleix was replaced by another officer called Comte de Lally. He became the viceroy of French in India. It was good a third Carnatic War. I told you about the Comte de Lally. He replaced the Dupleix. He came in the place of Dupleix. So as soon as he came to India, he attempted to besiege Vandivash in 1760. Means he planned to capture Vandivash. So in this decisive battle, Sir Harcourt of the English army defeated the French and imprisoned Bassi. Yes, here what happened when Comte de Lally wanted to capture Vandivash, he requested Bassi. Bassi was a French commander in Hyderabad. He requested him to come and help to capture Vandivash. So the Battle of Vandivash was fought between Sir Harcourt and Bassi in 1760. In this battle, Sir Harcourt defeated Bassi and imprisoned. When Bassi was imprisoned, Comte de Lally escaped and hid in Pondicherry. So it was easy for Sir Harcourt. He attacked on Pondicherry, and finally Comte de Lally had to surrender unconditionally in 1761. Like this, French surrendered themselves to the English in 1761. And all the French territories like Pondicherry, Mahe, Chandranagar, Karaikal, all these places were captured by the British. And finally, so the war was ended with the Treaty of Paris, and Pondicherry was given back to French. Even French had to lose all their bases in India. But so on one conditions, Pondicherry and few places of French were given back. That condition was French should not interfere in Indian politics. Like this, French lost their importance in India. They were in India till 1954. with only the few places like Pondicherry, Mahe, Chandranagar, and other places. So next, British rule in India. After controlling over South India through the Carnatic Wars, British decided to expand their empire. To expand their empire, especially in the north, Bengal province achieved tremendous growth in the areas of agriculture, commerce, and industries. So Bengal is having a very fertile land, northern plains. Most of the northern plains found there in Bengal. So the present West Bengal and Bangladesh together were called as a Bengal during the British rule. So it had made a good progress in the field of agriculture, commerce, and industries. Therefore, East India Company decided to control over Bengal. And even East India Company was making lot of benefits or considerable profit from Bengal province. So all these things made them control over Bengal or capture Bengal. So meanwhile, Farrukh Shah was a Mughal emperor. This Farrukh Shah, Mughal emperor, granted dastakats to British. What do you mean by this dastakats? Dastakats means a license to trade in Mughal Empire without paying the tax. What's called dastakats. So these dastakats had given to British by Farrukh Shah in returns of 3,000 rupees annually or per annum. So British had to pay 3,000 rupees per annum. They can trade without paying any tax in Mughal territories. So this dastakats were misused by the British in Bengal. This caused huge loss to Bengal government. Dastakats were given to the company use, but the company officials started to misuse the dastakats. So therefore, the Nawab of Bengal faced huge loss. So he asked the British stop misuse of dastakats. This has led to the Battle of Plassey. Okay, let us go for the causes for the Battle of Plassey. First one was misuse of dastakats. Sirajuddaulah was a Nawab of Bengal. He was not happy with the British attitude. British misused the dastakats. So dastakats were given to official purpose, but when they misused for personal purposes, this caused huge financial loss. Therefore, he asked the British stop misuse of dastakats. When he asked the British stop misuse of dastakats, British got angry and Sirajuddaulah, they declared war on Sirajuddaulah. So first point you can write, British misused dastakats in Bengal. It was the first cause. The second cause was mending of the fort without permission. British repaired the fort of Calcutta and placed the cannons. So here you can see that in this picture, these are called cannons. Okay. This further enraged Sirajuddaulah and he ordered the removal of cannons from the fort. The British refused to do this, angering the Nawab further. So make it the second point like this. British repaired Fort William and placed cannons without the permission of Nawab. This one you can make it second point. The third point was Black Room tragedy. So Siraj-ud-Dawla, when British refused to remove the cannons from the Fort William, Siraj-ud-Dawla attacked on Fort William. He imprisoned the guards who were in the Fort William. He imprisoned around 146 Englishmen in a small room in the fort, of which 123 died. This was called as a Black Room tragedy. So this enraged the British. British declared war on Siraj-ud-Dawla. So third point you can make it. Siraj-ud-Dawla attacked on Fort William and killed 123 Englishmen in Fort William. So therefore, British attacked on Siraj-ud-Dawla. So three reasons. One was British misused the Dastakhats in Bengal. The second one was British repaired the fort and placed the cannons in Fort William. Third one, Siraj-ud-Dawla attacked on Fort William and killed 123 Englishmen. So like this you can write if they ask causes for Battle of Plassey. This is also important for 2 marks. So then this enraged Robert Clive. Actually, Robert Clive was in south. He moved to the north. He came to Bengal with a large army, attacked on Siraj-ud-Dawla. So the Battle of Plassey was fought between Siraj-ud-Dawla and Robert Clive in 1757 at Plassey. That's enough regarding the course of the battle. Next, outcome, results. Results are very important for 2 mark questions. The first one, the Battle of Plassey brought out immorality, lack of unity among the Indians, and the greedy of Indian businessmen. Yes, immorality, because most of the Siraj-ud-Dawla's officials helped the British. There was no morality among them. And even most of the officials joined the hands of British. There was no unity among the officials and Siraj-ud-Dawla. Greedy of Indian businessmen. I told you in the previous one, British misused the Dastakhats. Even some of the Indians also purchased the Dastakhats from British and misused them. So that is greedy of Indian businessmen. So this was shown as the outcome of this Battle of Plassey. The second one, Mir Jafar became the Nawab of Bengal. Actually, this Mir Jafar was an important minister in the court of Siraj-ud-Dawla. So he joined the British hands. Therefore, British made Mir Jafar as the Nawab of Bengal. So Mir Jafar was killed. So he became Nawab of Bengal. Siraj-ud-Dawla was killed. Therefore, Mir Jafar became Nawab of Bengal. Even the company gained exclusive rights to do business in Bengal. So earlier they were doing the business using Dastakhats. Now they gained exclusive rights. All the rights of Bengal trade came under the British. Even Mir Jafar had to pay rupees 17 crore and 70 lakhs as a war expenditure. So Siraj-ud-Dawla attacked on Fort William. He damaged the Fort William, So as a expenditure, they collected 17 crore and 70 lakhs from Mir Jafar. These were the results of Battle of Plassey. Remember like this also. What you can remember? The first point you can remember, immorality, lack of unity, and greedy of Indian businessmen were brought out. Second one, Siraj-ud-Dawla was killed. Mir Jafar became Nawab of Bengal. Third point, the complete trade rights or rights of business of Bengal was given to the company or the British. Next, Mir Jafar had to pay 17 crore 70 lakhs war expenditure. So this one You can write as a result. That's important. Next, Battle of Buxar, one more. It was fought in 1764. So why Battle of Buxar fought? Let us see that. After Sirajud-Dowla, Mir Jafar was made Nawab of Bengal. Initially, Mir Jafar was loyal to the British. He fulfilled all the demands of the British. But gradually, British and officials of Mir Jafar became more greedy. When they became more greedy, so there was a bankruptcy in Bengal. Therefore, so Mir Jafar refused to fulfill the demands. When he refused to fulfill the demands, British dethroned Mir Jafar and appointed Mir Qasim as a Nawab of Bengal. Mir Qasim was a nephew of Mir Jafar. So even Mir Qasim was remained loyal to the British initially, and even he paid 2 lakh pounds to the company and even gave few places to company. Shortly, he declared himself as an independent king. Yeah, even though he gave 2 lakhs pounds and few places to British were not happy. They were too much greedy. And even Mir Qasim realized he is a puppet in the hands of the British. Therefore, he declared himself as an independent king. When he declared himself as an independent king, British got angry. And even he not only declared himself as independent king, after verifying the misuse of dastakats, he declared that the business is duty-free in Bengal. British still continued the misuse of dastakats in Bengal. When they continued the misuse of dastakats in Bengal, so he got angry. Mir Qasim got angry. He declared that business is duty-free in Bengal, means irrespective of the country, no businessman had to pay the tax. So even the competition was increased. Indians started to compete with the British. When Indians started to compete with the British faced loss in trade. When British faced loss in the trade, they got angry. They dethroned Mir Qasim and brought back Mir Jafar. When they brought back Mir Jafar, so Mir Qasim got angry. He formed an alliance and decided to declare war on the British. So that is led to the Battle of Buxar. If they ask causes for Battle of Buxar, you can go with these points. Mir Qasim was loyal to the British initially. He paid 2 lakhs pounds and few places to them. Shortly, he declared himself as an independent king. And also, he declared that the business is duty-free in Bengal. So this made British angry. They dethroned Mir Qasim and brought back Mir Jafar as a Nawab of Bengal. This has led to the Battle of Buxar. So Battle of Buxar was fought between alliance of Mir Qasim, Mughal ruler Shah Alam II, and Nawab of Awadh Shujauddin. So these three together formed triple alliance and declared war on the British. It was fought between the combined forces of Mir Qasim and Hector Munro. So Hector Munro, he was a British commander in the Battle of Buxar. It was fought in the year 1764. So Robert Clive was called back to England. There was an allegation on him, corruption allegations. Therefore, he was called back to England after the Battle of Plassey. Therefore, he was not available for Battle of Buxar. So in the place of Clive, Hector Munro fought this battle. So they can ask in the course, between whom was the Battle of Buxar fought? It was fought between the alliance of Mir Qasim and Akhtar Munro. Finally, Mir Qasim and his alliance got defeated. So Mir Qasim ran away from the battlefield. Even Shah Alam and Shuja ud Dawla both were surrendered. The effort of combined force to stop the British forces failed completely. Yes. So course, okay, no problem. You can remember that one point what I told you. The results are important. Many times they have asked even application questions on the results. So what were the results of Battle of Buxar? One thing you have to remember, results, outcomes, effects, all are same. So first one, Shah Alam gave Diwani rights over Bengal to the British. Shah Alam accorded the Diwani rights over Bengal to British. You can write Shah Alam gave Diwani rights over Bengal to the British. Diwani rights means collection of revenue, land taxes. Second point, Shah Alam too gave away all the rights over Bengal to the British for an annual fee of rupees 26 lakhs. So it means Shah Alam gave all the rights of Bengal in returns of 26 lakhs. British had to pay 26 lakhs per annum. The Bengal was came completely under the control of British. Third one was Nawab of Awadh had to give away a fine of rupees 50 lakhs for waging a war against the company. This one you can write in short form. Nawab of Awadh gave 50 lakhs war expenditure. Nawab of Awadh gave 50 lakhs war expenditure. Even so, after the death of Mir Jafar's son was paid pension. The entire Bengal came under the control of British. Yeah. Fourth point, you can make it short. Son of Mir Jafar was paid pension. These were the one more is that even they controlled over Bihar, Bengal, and Odisha provinces. So British controlled over Bihar, Bengal, and Odisha provinces. I repeat once again in short way. How can you write the outcomes? Shah Alam too gave Diwani rights to English. Shah Alam gave all the rights over Bengal to British in returns of 26 lakhs. Nawab of Awadh gave 50 lakhs war expenditure. Son of Mir Jafar was paid pension. British controlled over Bihar, Bengal, and Odisha provinces. These were the results. Okay, they asked the question: how did Battle of Buxar help British to establish their power in India? Our Battle of Buxar brought economic benefits or financial benefits to the British. Justify. And what are the results of Battle of Buxar? Like that, many questions are being asked in the previous exams. Last one is dual government. So Robert Clive introduced dual government in 1765. I told you that Robert Clive had gone to the England. After Battle of Buxar, he came back to India as a Governor General of Bengal. He introduced dual government. Dual government means two governments. One was revenue collection and the other one was overall administration. The British had the right to collect the land taxes, means they kept revenue collections. Nawab had a power over administrations, issues like justice and others. Means overall administrations was given to Nawab of Bengal. So these were the outcomes on dual government. This is also important for 2 marks. So they can ask, explain dual government. Or 1 mark they can ask, who introduced dual government. So Robert Clive introduced dual government. Dual government means two governments. One was revenue collections, the other one was overall administration. So British retained revenue collections, whereas Nawab was given overall administrations. Thank you. For more videos, subscribe to this channel. I will upload next video next week. Thank you.